Welcome to Pass the Torch, where we ignite purpose, passion, and potential in early childhood development. Hi, I am Diane from I'd Love to Create educational platform, and we are very excited for this episode about motherhood. And we got three lovely ladies that is joining us. And before we're going to introduce, I would really like to thank Aletta Haynes from 50 Outreach at Kingswood in George. And we'll see you after the break.
Motherhood is beautiful, but also messy, confusing, and full of questions. And just when you think you have finally nailed one thing, a new problem pops up. So what do? We turn to the internet and social media. But with so many voices and opinions and noise, we end up overwhelmed, anxious, and maybe even with mom guilt, as we just can't keep up with the unrealistic expectations we see on socials. On the other hand, there's experts, and experts have answers. But we only get access to their knowledge if you have a specific issue in a specific point in time and by appointment. And for the rest of it, well, we just have to kind of figure it out on our own. But we think we found the solution and created the sweet spot to help moms flourish. The Motherhood App, your village in your pocket. The app connects you with moms in your exact phase. We have chat groups for every phase, from pregnancy to primary school. A space to connect, relate with moms, and get curated resources designed for the phase you are navigating. We also partnered with 85 experts, from pediatricians, nurses, psychologists, therapists, coaches, doctors, and more. And they are all passionate about supporting moms, and on a weekly basis deliver live online Q&As, panel discussions, and workshops. So what are you waiting for? Join the hood, your village, your community and space to breathe, mama. Surrounded by moms and experts who truly get it. The Motherhood App, your village, right in your pocket.
Right, and welcome back after the break. And as I said, we have three lovely ladies with us today. We're going to discuss motherhood. And yes, I would like to introduce Marley and Wendy and Cherie. So let's start with Cherie.
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm a mom of one, Zeka. He's 6 years old. I live in Seychelles. We've been here for about 6 years. And that's me. I'm a teacher, or I used to teach before we came to Seychelles.
Hi, thank you. And Marley?
Oh, hello, my name is Marley Moska. I also live in the Seychelles. I'm married to Hendrik Jan, a wonderful husband. I'm a mom of three, Marcus, Jalinka, and Estienne, who is 6, 4, and 14 months. I have my master's in industrial psychology, and I also am an organizational development consultant. And I've got a very big passion for moms and connecting moms. That's me.
Thank you, Marley. And yes, last but not least, Wendy.
Yes, so I'm Wendy. I'm a mom of twin girls. They're 5 years old. I'm also married to a wonderful husband named Christy. We live here in Cape Town. I've got my honors in educational psychology, and I was in education for 16 years, and I now run a business from home.
Wonderful. So as you can hear, that's a wonderful, lovely ladies for us to have a discussion about motherhood. But I think these three ladies has a wonderful story to tell. And I think they got something to share with us. Marley, is there a story behind motherhood?
So, yes, there's a massive story behind motherhood. So the three of us came together, has it been 6 months, Sherry? I can't even remember when we started this whole thing. And we found that there's a massive need for moms to feel safe and have a space where they can connect in a safe space, and where moms can build positive self-esteem, positive self-confidence, and get the support that they needed. And we felt that there's social media, and we felt that there's experts in the world, but how do we get it all together? And I don't know if you want me to continue. Okay.
Yes,
so
want to hear your story.
So what we decided and what we realized was that moms from pregnancy straight through till they leave your house need answers and have questions. And every time you think like you figured something out, there's something new. Like now suddenly your child is potty trained, great, but now they stop eating vegetables. Or and then what happens is what moms do is we go to social media and we kind of go look for answers and we go look for inspiration. But social media is so overwhelming. There's so many voices and there's so much noise on the one end. So you almost walk away with less answers. And then on the other hand, you have these picture perfect influencers that the children, they never spill, they all wear white and beige, the house is always clean, and the husband throws petals every morning. And you walk away from that scene, and instead of walking away with answers and confidence, we walk away with guilt, shame, anxiety. Why doesn't my life look like this? Why don't I have everything under control? So that's the one end. On the other end, we have these wonderful experts. We've got doctors, psychologists, play therapists, lactation consultants, people that can make massive, amazing lunch boxes. You have all these experts, moms with 5 children that's been through it. But we only, as moms, have access to these experts when you have a specific problem in a specific point in time. And then you can go get your answer. But for the rest of it, we kind of just have to figure it out on our own. And so we realized that there is a massive need for a space where we can connect moms with each other, but we can also connect moms with experts to build that confidence and that positive self-esteem. And so how the 3 of us came together,
That's the story I want to hear.
One afternoon, I pitched this idea to my husband and I pulled out this big yellow cardboard, just started making notes with a Cokie. And that next afternoon at swimming, while our boys were swimming, I went to Sherry, took a big breath. I'm like, okay, listen, I've got a plan. And I opened up this poster and my baby was crawling there and my other daughter was making a mess. But I'm pitching this thing to Sherry today and I need to get her to buy in. Because Sherry, you might not know, has the most creative eye that I've ever met. And Sherry has the most kind heart. And she's been motherhooding already for very long. I've been watching her and I've been seeing how she is already putting herself into mom's stories, supporting other moms, helping other moms. So there was zero way that I could do this thing on my own. So I pulled her in as co-founder, and then this thing just skyrocketed because with her ideas and her vision and her beautiful eye, it just made it amazing. And then we were collaborating and we were busy getting experts. But side note, Wendy has always been my spirit animal. And from the start, I've just had Wendy in my back of my mind. And as we were searching for collaborators and experts, I knew she had this psych education background, the twins in ICU mom. And then in that same week that I wanted to contact Wendy contacted me about a collab thing she wanted to do with our psychologies for teachers, and that she just has this vision that she wants to help moms. And I was like, God just knew. And while we were having a meeting with Wendy, and Sherry and I looked at each other, we were like, okay, let's just ask her. And we didn't discuss it. We were just like, maybe we should ask her to help.
We both felt it.
We wanted part of this team. And we're like, Wendy, what about? And we talked, and bada bing, bada boom, God just knew that we needed Wendy, because Wendy, like I said, with Sherry, has this empathetic heart. She's so good with people. And if there's ever been someone that has Jesus' feet and hands that just want to serve and help others, Wendy Rix, ladies and gentlemen. And so that is how we got together, and how, without even discussing it, it just aligned. And we're all so passionate about motherhood, and here we are.
Fantastic. This is a fantastic story, you 3. It's such a, I can so relate to that, because you've putting motherhood into a package exactly the same as what I'm doing, all things early childhood development. And it is really a wonderful journey to walk this journey with you. And I'm very privileged to actually be one of your collaborators. Is that what you call it? And I'm going to do one of your sessions. So I'm very excited for you, excited for your journey. I think you're doing a wonderful thing. And I just praise and bless you with this journey. But we're going to take a small break, and then we're going to do our discussion about motherhood. Thank you. Right, ladies, you've told me about this wonderful journey about motherhood. And motherhood is a journey filled with unexpected twists. Madly, can you maybe take us back to a definite moment that you perhaps had a challenge or aha moment that shaped you, um, how you see motherhood today?
Oh, I won't say that it's a moment, maybe a phase in my life. So, as I've mentioned, we live in the Seychelles and we're very privileged to live in a very tight community on a tiny island that's connected to the main island. And on this tiny island, there's a lot of South Africans. But because life in the Seychelles is slow, there's not a lot of, we don't have malls, we don't have a lot of shop options, you have one doctor, one dentist, you're very limited. And I kind of experienced in my motherhood phase here that a sense of true, it takes a village. We carpool each other's children. We watch each other's children at the pool. We buy each other's children ice cream. In the middle of the night, if you have a problem, you don't go to the 24-hour pharmacy that doesn't exist in the Seychelles. You call the neighbor, you run across, you get a Band-Aid. It's really that sense of community where you can still literally send your child over the road for a cup of milk or one egg. And we literally do that. Because it's such a schlep to buy groceries here, we would say, okay, I'm going to the shop today, who needs eggs? I'm going there, who needs bread? And as I've been reviewing and kind of contemplating our time here, I realized that we've been living in this sense of almost, I want to say, how it ought to be in the olden days, that natural village. Yeah, how it's not fast paced, it's not everyone for themselves, it's slow. And because we are in the situations, we are dependent on each other. And it's okay to be dependent. And I think that was my aha, is that motherhood is a village, and I've experienced it firsthand, but that dependency, that it's okay not to know it all. It's okay not to have it all together. It's okay that if Sherry visits my house, she has to climb over 700 shoes and make her way through toys and then see me with a baby on the hip stirring a pot that doesn't have anything in it, It's okay. And I think that was my aha moment, was this village and the rawness and the dependency and how beautifully it worked. And I was thinking, how could we recreate this in the digital era that we are living in? How can we slow down the world so that mothers can feel more confident and experience this that we felt in this village in the Seychelles?
And if I can just add there, I always say that the internet is so overwhelming, but to package this thing of motherhood as a one-stop would be such a great, it's such a great idea, because as I said, it is so overwhelming. And, but thank you, Madly. Right. My next question would be for Wendy. How personal struggles and wins led to the desire to be part of something meaningful in motherhood?
Yeah, so my motherhood journey, my own personal motherhood journey, started in January of 2020 when my twins were born. And they were born a little bit prematurely. So they had to go to the NICU for about 2 weeks. And after I was discharged, my parents came to stay with us for 2 weeks. And I cannot tell you the value of having their emotional support. Between my husband and my parents, they literally kept me going so that I could keep my twins going. I didn't have that experience of having them in the hospital room with me, breastfeeding them from the start. They had feeding tubes. So I had to express breast milk. It was very challenging and a very emotional time. And that's where I realized that having my mom and my dad here with me, supporting me emotionally, is really what brought my village together, and something that I really needed for just coping emotionally and keeping going and expressing. And my dad would go in the mornings and deliver the breast milk to the hospital, and my mom would make sure that I ate all the healthy, right things to be able to produce milk. And that was something that I realized that, you know, you need that emotional support. You need a village. You can't always do everything on your own. And then when my twins were finally discharged from the hospital, I couldn't believe that the doctors were sending me home with not just one, but two premature babies. And I was a first time mom. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt so overwhelmed and uncertain. And, you know, I was home with these babies. It was just before lockdown. And I realized that there's a lot of information out there. So whatever happens or whatever phase you're in, there's a lot of information, but it's very difficult to sift through that information and find something that's reliable and relevant to your situation. So when you're in a situation or something happens or something changes, you know, do you phone your mom? Do you Google? Do you go on social media? Where do you find good information? So that was the one part. And then after 6 months, I was home with him for 6 months. It was in COVID lockdown time. And then after 6 months, I had to go back to work. And that was a very emotional time for me as well, because, you know, you feel guilty for having to leave your babies. It's all the stress about, you know, COVID being out there. Can you send them to a creche? Can you send them to a daycare? It's very stressful. So my mother and father-in-law graciously offered to come and stay with us for 5 months to look after the twins. And once again, I realized how valuable having that village is, and having that support and having them here, keeping us going, and knowing that I don't have to drop off my two babies at a daycare. That support was just immense. And I cannot tell you how valuable that was for us. So I think motherhood for me is twofold. One is having a supportive village. Secondly is having reliable, relevant information. And I think that's what makes this app so incredible.
Yeah. And that's where the journey of you um, creating this journey of motherhood um, is such as I would say, such a wonderful initiative. Um, because I think if you don't have that, you can actually use the app or the motherhood that you are developing now, that you can actually support you, because sometimes you are in a situation that you don't have a mom or dad, and then you have that with you.
Exactly.
So thank you so much. Cherie, the emotional highs and lows of motherhood that had you buy into the needs and pushing your time into the app that you are developing. Please share with us, because this is what we actually want to get to, is the motherhood app.
I think, you know, when I had Zeka, and I think all moms, when you get home um, with your baby, you're so overwhelmed. If it's the first baby, second baby, you know, and but there's so much going on. But then you have all your family there visiting and friends bringing you food and helping out, and then suddenly it just stops, and that's what it was for us. My mom didn't live close by. My in-laws weren't close by, so you know they would come when they can. But then husband would go back to work. Everyone would just go back to their lives, which you know as it should be. That's life. And then that loneliness sets in, and that overwhelmness of just doing it by yourself and figuring it out. Um, I think that's one of my moments. And then after that, I think Zeka was about 4 or 5 months. We decided we're moving to Seychelles here, and you know, now my expat mom, and that is just on another level, just something else as well. I found it so difficult. I didn't have my usual community, which my family and my friends, no one I knew. So just adjusting to that was really difficult. And it took me a really long time to find those people that I can connect with and find people in the same phase of that I'm in. Um, and then after that, we found out that our son is autistic and sorry.
We're all good. Cherie, we're with you, and we I so treasure that this is real life. This is real motherhood. This is real emotions. And that is what we want to bring to you today. And we want to use this opportunity to share this. Because there's a lot of other moms feeling exactly the same in the same situation. And that's why we're doing this, what we are doing. And as I said in the intro, it's one conversation at a time that we want to change people's lives and really bring value to people. So, Cherie, thank you for your story. If you want to continue.
Yeah, sorry, that was unexpected. Yeah, so we found out Zeke is autistic and ADHD as well. And finding that out in Seychelles, well, we went back home, but living in Seychelles with an autistic child, just in general, it's not always easy being here. But living with a special needs child is just next level difficult. We don't have all the resources and help that you would have in South Africa. And that's, I was very lonely. You know, my friends and family, they really supported me and helped me through it. But I didn't have that person that actually knew what I was really going through, you know, to guide me and to help me and just be there to vent and be angry. And yeah, and that was very difficult for me. I mean, I just remember this one time. My mom told me she was at a wedding and she met one of her old friends, and her daughter's was the same year as me at school, and we hadn't spoken in years. And my mom and a friend were chatting, and it just came out that both our sons, same age, are autistic. And they said we should just chat. And so my mom and her friend they gave our numbers, and we connected. And it was at that time in my life, I just really needed that person that knows what I'm going through, just to tell your story. You know, you don't always want advice, and sometimes you need that advice, but just someone there. And that's what I think this app is. What's so important, you know, having that connection in that phase in your life, someone helping you and guiding you, that you're not feeling lonely. And yeah,
It's a lovely story, Cherie. Thank you for that. And yes, I think if it's such a you know, if we come to think of it, how many times people are placed in your life in a certain time that sometimes you didn't even ask for, but it's there. So yes, it's a wonderful experience to have and to feel and to look back to see the journey as well. We'll take a short break, and then we'll follow with the why of about this journey of motherhood. Right, welcome back, everybody. And yeah, that was a lovely segment to chat about the Motherhood app. And we're going to dive into the why and the vision of this app. And I'd like to start with Marley.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're asking about the why. I think we can sometimes get so lost in the what's in the world, and the why is the thing that drives it from the center, from the heart. And although we're talking about the Motherhood app, Motherhood is actually, as we now working with it, is a movement. It is bringing moms together, connecting moms with experts. It's revolutionizing how moms ask for support. And it's so much bigger. The app is just the platform that we're going to do this beautiful thing of motherhood on. Okay. And so the why really is to exactly that. We were talking about self-esteem. We were talking about self-confidence. And the why is that when moms feel confident, when moms feel equipped, when moms feel enabled, when moms feel empowered, you get children that feels regulated. You get children that feels enabled, empowered. You get stronger families. And if you have strong families, we create strong generations. If you create strong generations, you're creating a stronger future for the world and South Africa. So the why really is something that I'm deeply passionate about, that it's not just about the app and the features and the beautiful graphics, but it's about the heart of motherhood and the impact that moms have. It's such a sacred calling. It's such an important thing that we can't just shove it off and move it into a corner. We need to do this. And then flowing from the why, I do want to mention the what. So in order for us to create this space for moms, we have two core offerings. So the one offering is that we have, like Sherry mentioned, these mom groups. And we have a chat group for pregnant moms, newborn moms, baby moms, toddler moms, primary school moms, preschool moms. But then we also have WhatsApp groups for special needs moms, twin moms. Exactly what Sherry and Wendy mentioned is that overwhelm. Now you have a group where you can go ask questions that's curated and that's specific to your phase that you are in. But you're not limited to that group. You can also pop into the next group. Maybe your child will be preschool next year and say, hey, experienced preschool moms, these are my fears. Help us sister out, And in those groups, you'll also have resources and printables and cheat sheets that's curated and, like Wendy mentioned, reliable and relatable. On the other hand, the core offering is we will on this app have live weekly events, workshops, panel discussions, Q&As, and we have 85 at the moment experts that have committed to be part of this thing, from psychologists to doctors to lactation consultants, like I've mentioned. And the beauty of this thing is, and Sherry and Wendy, you could, I think you will agree, we have not told a single soul about this thing where they have not been very interested and very excited and felt like, shucks, I wish this was my idea, or shucks, when can we start?
Part of this, yes.
Yeah. So what this thing will do is now suddenly it's not a generic AI bot giving you an answer when you ask on the app. You go to a live event of sleep training. Ooh. You go to a live event of lactation resources, and you can get to ask questions directly and get answers personally from an expert. So the why, the what, the platform, yeah.
All right. Right. Is Cherie or Wendy anything to add on to Marli's discussion?
Yeah, so I think also another big part of the Motherhood app and our vision is, to build mothers' self-esteem. So why is self-esteem important? Self-esteem is your overall sense of worth. That's what self-esteem means. And I think something that we've realized is that self-esteem can actually be built by social and emotional support. So you can actually build a mother's self-esteem by supporting her and giving her relevant information and telling her that she's got this. So I think that's also a big drive that we have with the Motherhood app, is the focus on building self-esteem in mothers.
And I think also when it comes to the groups that we have, you get a lot of these different groups on Facebook and maybe different apps, or I don't know, but those groups that you can sometimes, or a lot of the times, you walk away feeling worse off because people are mean. Moms can be mean and judgmental, and that's one thing we said from the beginning. If we have these groups, firstly, we want the different phases that you connected in that phase that you're in at that time, but also that our groups will be, monitored. We don't want any bullying and judgment. We just want an upliftment, like Wendy said. So that's something really important to us, that our groups will be monitored, and it will be said beforehand to all the subscribers that this is a safe space. We don't judge, we uplift, we give advice, but we don't want anyone feeling, put down or anything. And that's I think really important to us as well. Yeah.
I would like to add one more thing, and I think Wendy, thanks for lifting up the concept of self-esteem. Is moms can get so lost in motherhood, in the parent-child relationship of the skills you need to have to raise good humans. You have to understand sleep, you have to understand nursing, you have to understand how to prepare a child to read. But in the Motherhood App, in this movement, we look at the mom holistically. So yes, we have our sleep trainers, yes, we have our teachers, but we also have coaches, we have counselors, we have psychologists, and they're going to bring to the table things like, how do you mend and keep your relationship alive, relationship skills. We have industrial psychologists. After maternity, you want to go back to work, but you don't know how to make the transition. So we're looking at the mom holistically to ensure that we cover all the facets in order to build that confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
And if whenever it's going to be launched, this is something that I will really recommend. I would say preschool owners to actually present to their moms, because they are in different phases also in their lives. They maybe they got one child, they got 2 or 3 children, and it's going to be a lovely tool to use. And I think you can put that as an add-on to your preschool, to actually use this as a tool and refer this to a mom, because sometimes preschool owners and teachers, they see a lot of things, and they can just advise and refer to that. So I think that is a wonderful tool. How I see it is to actually use that. So it makes me very excited to actually present this. Thank you. Right. And we're going to also take another little small break, and then we're going to come to the conclusion of our episode. And end of this lovely discussion that we had about motherhood. There was a lot of perspective, a lot of insights in this discussion, and that was lovely. Thank you, ladies. Welcome back for our last segment and concluding and creating the last bits about motherhood. And we would really like to have your, Madly, your final thoughts about what we have discussed today.
Oh, final thoughts. My final thoughts is just, moms, motherhood is best shared. You never were meant to do this alone, and we've got you. We're here to support, and don't be shy. Come check us out. Once we've launched, come try the 14-day free trial. If it's for you, great. If it's not, I hope you find something that will help you. But it's best shared, and we can't wait to meet you there.
Fantastic. And Cherie, tell us a bit more about the socials of the app.
Yes, so our app and our website will all be going live in June, hopefully. That's our launch date, if everything goes according to plan. But we are starting our beta launch. Our beta testing starts in May and runs through the whole of May. And hopefully during that, we can fix all and get all the snags fixed. And we have our socials are running on Facebook and Instagram at motherhood.moms. And our website is motherhoodmoms.com. But all that will only be live once our app is launched. The app will also be available on Android and Apple.
Wonderful. And the details will also be in the show notes for more detail. And they're also going to do a podcast in the course of May. So, we can't wait for that. And yes, and Wendy, to wrap up.
Okay, so to wrap up, firstly, I would just like to say that I feel incredibly grateful and privileged to be a part of this project and to be a part of Marley and Sherry's incredible vision. So I just wanted to share that. And then secondly, just a message from me to moms is that motherhood isn't always easy and it can be very tough. But to know that they're not alone. They don't have to go at this alone. And that they were born to do this. You were born to be a mother. And don't doubt in the fact that you are where you are supposed to be and that you were born to do this. And it might not always be easy, and there will be difficult days and there will be hard days, but you've got this. And on the days that you feel that you don't have it all together, we'll have your back.
Yeah.
We'll have your back. Motherhood will have your back.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you, Wendy. And that concludes our wonderful podcast and discussion about motherhood today. I'm sure you're going to take something home, even if it's just a word, even just something that somebody said. It's just to uplift us, because I think we need it. Thank you so much. Until next time.